as you know, in the last class we had summarized the first 8 verses. So basically these 8 verses were the first part was to glorify the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, then explaining the concept of avatara. So this was a little digression from the main topic, because Krishna just wanted to convey these to Arjuna and to all of us also, the importance of studying Bhagavad Gita, as well as why an avatara happens, why at certain times the Lord has to come and set things right. So like he says, when adharma exceeds a particular proportion, then to set it right, to bring dharma, establish dharma once again, the Lord has to appear, and he appears whenever it is required. It is not that only once in a yuga, it could be many times in a yuga also, because when there is a need, and it comes sometimes from the collective prayer of people. When everybody prays in a mass, asking for deliverance from adharma, because when it happened in earlier yugas, so because of that, the Lord comes down in a human form and sets right, establishes dharma once again. So this is the process which happens continuously. It has been happening since the world existed, and the world has always been existing. There was never a time when this world was not there, and there will be never a time when this world will not be there. The actions will keep on happening, and as and when there is a need, when the Lord feels adharma has to be rectified and dharma has to be established, he appears. So this was the topic in the first 8 verses. Now let us move on to the 9th verse. So again, now Krishna comes back to the main topic. So let us read the 9th verse. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. So as we know, the main topic of Bhagavad Gita is Moksha Shastra. How to attain moksha is what is the main topic. So all the others are towards attaining this goal. What is required is what Krishna is telling in the other verses. So the main topic is Moksha Shastra. So here Krishna says, those who know the reality of my divine birth, when they give up the body, they are not born again. Such a person attains me. So this is what is the gist of this verse. So here, when Krishna says, those who understand my divine birth, the meaning behind my divine birth, not knowing Krishna the person, knowing the reason of his birth. The person who knows the reason for his birth doesn't come back again in any form. Now here there could be a confusion. is there another path? Because earlier it was told that jnana is the way to moksha. So through knowledge only you can gain moksha. But here Krishna says, those who know me also will gain moksha. So what is the difference? So we may think, okay, so I need not gain all this knowledge. If I just know Krishna, that itself will give me moksha. So why should I go through the process of acquiring this knowledge? But then we need to understand, to know Krishna in his true form, not Krishna or even Rama in their physical form, but the essence behind these two forms, the true nature of both Rama or Krishna, the avatara. If you know the true nature, then you attain moksha. Now what is this true nature? It is no different from knowing your true nature. So jnanam is going to give you knowledge about yourself. And the knowledge about yourself is also the knowledge of Krishna. Because the same, whether you call it God realization or self-realization, both are one and the same. So there is no difference between God realization and self-realization. Because ultimately both are the same consciousness. So you can't differentiate between you realize that whatever is the essence behind Krishna or Rama is the same essence that you are born with, or you are part of that same essence. You can hear me? All of you?
Please carry on.
Okay. So, the basic consciousness is what is Krishna as well as the self. So this, if you understand, so naturally you will gain moksha. So there is no confusion. It is not that Krishna is saying there are two paths now. One is through knowledge, other one is through knowing me. So knowing me and knowing the self is one and the same. So once you know me, once you know the divinity behind my existence, the consciousness, you will realize that it is the same consciousness that you are also the same consciousness. So what you are seeking is the very same thing. So there are no two paths. And he says, those who understand this, those who understand my divinity, they are not born again. They come to me. So when he says come to me, means it doesn't mean that you travel and reach him. You are not traveling anywhere. It is just that you understand that there is no difference between him and you. So they come to me means you are one and the same. The realization that you are one and the same is reaching. In this context, reaching. They come to me when he says it is you have realized that there is no difference between him and you. So that means you have reached him. So we should not have this idea that after death we travel and reach a particular place where Krishna is there, and you are there with him. So this is what many of us may have this thing. So because generally people use, he has attained the lotus feet of God, he has attained this. Even in other religion also, like Christianity, they say somebody slept in Jesus. So these are the terminology people use. In their case, we don't know what they exactly mean. But here, we are very clear, you are not traveling anywhere. Because there is nothing to travel. Because everything is one and the same. When everything is the same, where do you travel? So it is just removing that wheel. You are just between you and Krishna or the consciousness. There is a wheel. You feel that these are two different things. When you remove the wheel, you see that it is one and the same. There is absolutely no difference. So that is the meaning behind people reaching me when he says, this is what happens. So, self-realization and God-realization are one and the same. There is absolutely no difference. So now let us move on to the next verse, the 10th verse. Vitaraga bhaya krodha अन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा भूता मद्भावमागताः. So Krishna says, after being free from craving, fear and anger, having taken refuge in me, purified by the knowledge of me, many have come back to my nature. So he says, many have come back to my nature. So here, having overcome anger, or starting with raga, dvesha. So raga, as we know, is attachment. Raga, dvesha, they come together, likes and dislikes. So once you overcome this and your mind is purified and you attain this knowledge, then you attain my nature. So here he doesn't say they come to me. You attain my nature, and his nature is absolute pure consciousness. So very clearly he is saying there is no difference between you and me. So how do you remove raga, dvesha, krodha? Already he has given enough this thing on this subject. Karma yoga. So karma yoga is the only way to purify the mind. So the more the mind becomes purer, the knowledge sits firmly, and in a pure mind, the mind can never become 100% pure, because there's nothing can be as pure as consciousness. There will be a little bit of impurity, but when you reach that stage, that impurity will also drop off. So when you reach that kind of, when the knowledge is firmly entrenched in the mind, then there is nothing else to be attained. So you join, or you realize that the very nature of the total is you. So raga, dvesha. So initially how do you remove this? So from world, so first you have a single God. So all of us may have an Ishta Devata with whom we relate. So initially, for us to relate, because you need a form. Without a form, you cannot relate to anyone. So you identify, even all of us, to identify somebody, only you can have a relationship with somebody whom you know. Nowadays, virtually people come to know and they get married also. So that is a different kind of. So without meeting each other, I believe through Facebook and other social media, people have contacted and they have got into a relationship also. So such things are happening now. But we are talking about relating with a supreme being. So you need a form. You cannot, unlike human beings, we cannot directly relate with a person. So you have a form. So you relate with that form, and with that form you surrender to that. So all your actions you surrender to that Devata. Whatever actions you do, you take it as a service to that particular form, and whatever comes as a result, you accept that as a prasada from that particular God. So this is the first stage, where once you decide to go for moksha. So a person who's interested to gain moksha, otherwise people can believe in God, not believe in God, or whatever they like they can do. It's their choice. But once you realize that you need to attain moksha, or you accept that in fact everything that we do is only for independence from certain things. So even day-to-day things, why do? We want to be free. So if you want to avoid, if you are traveling in the bus every day, you are depending on the bus. So bus can come late, early. So you want to be free from that dependence on the bus, so you get a scooter. So basically you are looking for independence from the bus journey. So you buy a scooter. Now later scooter may have its own problem. Then you want to be dependent on something else. It is very hot, so I need an AC, so I need a car. So always we are looking for freedom from certain things which are not convenient. So all of us, irrespective of whatever we do, we are basically seeking freedom, directly or indirectly. So ultimate freedom is moksha. So you don't depend on anything. So but initially you have dependence on, you say, God. So from world dependence, because world dependence is very shaky. It is like sitting on a cardboard chair. You know it is not going to hold your weight. So it can collapse. So you shift from world dependence to God dependence. So when you move to God dependence, you gain that strength. So from this, when you move on to God dependence, you free yourself of many things. So when you do any action, you do it with a karma yoga attitude. So automatically the results are not going to bother you, because everything depends on the result. So we are always So everything is raga driven, attachment. We are attached to results, we are attached to people. So attachment leads to kind of fear. So early morning we get a call from some known people, or in earlier days we used to get telegram. So first thing we always think is somebody has died. That is why the telegram is coming, or some early morning, not usual time call. It may be like good news, somebody has delivered a baby, or some marriage is fixed. But the first thought most of us will have is, I think something has happened to somebody. So why this fear comes? Because of our attachment. If it happens, okay, some earthquake in Nepal or China, some few people have died or thousands have died, okay, we'll feel bad a little bit, but okay, that's also poor people, what to do. But if one of our people had traveled to that place, or like what happened in Bangalore a few days back, there's a stampede and people died, all of us will feel bad. But oh, my brother or my son or somebody had gone for that, could it be one of those people who died? So immediately the mind is full of fear. So this comes out of attachment. So the more we are attached, the more there is fear. And fear leads to anger. So when you don't attain something that you want, you're always fearful it will not happen. It leads to anger. This anger may destroy the person who is angry, or the person against whom the anger is directed. So this is the result of attachment. So attachment leads to fear, fear leads to anger. So how to be free of all this is, first, from world dependence you move to God dependence. So you worship one particular form of God. Share all your feelings with that God. People do that. Free their burden. They will sit in front of the deity and pour out their thoughts, their sorrows, and they will feel light. And then whatever you do it as a service to the deity, and you leave it to him. You just, okay, I will do whatever is possible from my side. Whatever comes out of it, I have no problems. So this is how you slowly get out of this raga, krodha. So all these are born out of attachment. So the only way is from world dependence. So from, again, if you take in terms of God, so you identify with a particular God initially, then you realize that there are, everything you see around, there is God. So from Ekarupa, one particular form, you realize that God is there in various other forms also. So from Ekarupa to Anekarupa. And finally, God is Arupa. He doesn't have any form. So this is a step by step, stage by stage progress to attaining that goal. So you, from world dependence to God dependence, and finally through knowledge you realize that there is no difference between God dependence and self dependence. So you become self dependent, because you realize that whatever you are seeking is you. So this is the process. And as far as God is concerned, from Eka Rupa, from a single deity, Aneka Rupa, you see God in different forms, and then finally the total, when you see, God doesn't have any form. But it is difficult for us to identify with any particular, with God, if there is no Rupa. You cannot say, okay, when you say omnipresent, omniscient, it means that everything that you see is only God. But to come to that knowledge, first you should identify with the form. Otherwise it's very difficult for us to relate with something which we don't know. So this is how we progress. And ultimately you reach Him, so to say, or like he says, many have attained my nature. So many. So he says, so anyone also can attain. Many have attained, and if you follow this process, you can also be one among those many. So the same process is required for somebody to attain. So you move from, again, world dependence to God dependence, and ultimately move on to self-dependence. You identify with Eka Rupa, move to Aneka Rupa, and then finally realize that God doesn't have any form. God is not available in one particular place where you reach. Whatever you see is only the same consciousness, and you are also that. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You have to just remove that screen, the distance which you think is that between you and God. Once that screen is removed, you realize that it is the same. So you don't travel anywhere, you don't have to reach Him anywhere, because you are Him. So you don't have to travel anywhere to be with yourself. You are there with you all the time, and you are that same consciousness as Bhagwan. So this is the essence of this verse. Now let us read the 11th verse. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. So here Bhagavan says, those who worship me in whatever way, I bless them in the same way. So here Krishna is not saying that only if you follow the path of moksha I will help you. Of course, that is the goal for everybody. But if you have not understood what is moksha and you are interested in other goals, He is not going to let you down. He says, whatever be your goals, I am not going to thrust moksha on you. There is no compulsion on you. Because unless you want it, there is no point in me thrusting it upon you. You want materialistic things, I am willing to give you. Whatever you need, pray to me sincerely. I will bless you so that you attain that. Of course, there is always a rider on that. It should be dharmic. Your wish should be in tune with dharma. So you cannot wish that I want to kill this person or I want the wealth of this person. This thing will not, definitely not fructify. But any wishes you have within the dharmic fold, And another thing is, it should be based in tune with your karma. So your karma will also, so I cannot wish you something if your karma is not destined to get that. So within your karma and within dharmic rules, whatever is you want, I am definitely going to grant you that. So as long as you pray to me sincerely with any wish you have in mind, definitely I will help you to fulfill that wish. There is no doubt about it. If you are not interested in moksha, it is your choice. But if you want a permanent solution to all problems, then moksha is the only way. But people may not understand the importance of, though, like I said, everybody is seeking moksha only, everybody wants to be independent of freedom from everything. So basically you are seeking freedom from unhappiness, insecurity. So when you are seeking wealth, you are basically seeking freedom from insecurity. So you feel, okay, if I have 1 crore, I'll be secure. But the way prices are going up, after some time you will feel, oh, this may not be enough, I may need 1 more crore. So there is no end to, so basically you are seeking freedom from insecurity. So if you say, okay, I have this, Bhagavan will take care of me. I don't need to be worried about what I am going to do or what will happen to me. I need not worry. If you have that, so for that you need to understand what is Bhagavan. If you think I can do it, I will do everything, it's up to you. I don't need Bhagavan. It is up to you. So insecurity is what is bugging people. So basically you are seeking freedom from insecurity, and everybody is seeking happiness. Everybody wants to be happy. So in other words, you are basically seeking freedom from unhappiness. I don't want to be unhappy at any time. So these two, so among the 4 goals, if you say they are not independent of moksha, though the primary goal is defined as moksha, in every other goal also you are seeking moksha only. But if you understand and if you go by the ultimate goal of moksha, then your other goals, artha and kama, also can be tuned to that, and that will happen through karma yoga. So everything is available, it is for us to choose. So he says, you come to me with any wish. If you are happy with getting some money or some little happiness here and there, the choice is yours. If you want, I can give you the limitless wealth, which is moksha. But if you feel I am satisfied with whatever little I get, okay, go ahead, come back again in the next birth, again go through the same process, again take another birth, build more insecurities, build more unhappiness, and then to satisfy that again come back. Choice is yours. Now you have a choice. In this birth you have a human birth. If you understand what is moksha and you strive for it, you either reach that goal in this life itself or if you are in the right path, the process will take you at least in the future births. You will continue from where you let off, so that sometime in some birth you will attain that moksha. Otherwise, come back, enjoy and suffer whatever is due in your karma, because you to satisfy your needs, you do action, and that action will lead to punya and papa, and that will be the cause for your next birth. So the choice is, so Krishna is not forcing this on anybody. Moksha Shastra cannot be forced. It is just to, he is ready to give you the ultimate thing, but it is your choice to get asked what you want. So this is what Krishna is conveying in this particular verse. We will continue in the next class.